ciérnaga.
That's a great word. Yeah. You know that in Portuguese, that's called a vagalume.
That's cool.
Yeah. And they call a hummingbird a beija-flor.
Beija, what's the second word mean?
No, it's a beija-flor, flower kisser. Hummingbird.
Wow. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's kind of
Recording in progress.
Beija-flor que trouxe meu amor. Vou aqui embora.
Keep going, Nick.
Yeah, como é lindo meu amor. Sou feliz agora.
Is that Jobim? Who is that?
No, it's something much more recent. I don't know. Aldo probably knows it. Right? He's a world traveler.
They still call it bossa nova.
No, it's kind of like reggae. They love reggae
Okay.
in Brazil too.
You have a good voice for it, Nick. Shoot.
Maybe I'll be in a Bob Marley cover band.
Yes.
Let's do it.
Yeah, yeah. We might need a drummer.
I gotta
Oh,
get
sweet.
Yeah.
What kind of guitar is it? Is that a Yamaha?
Martin.
Whoa.
Nice.
I don't play.
You inherited that from somebody.
Nah, I bought it.
Yeah.
Chuck
Nice.
Chuck sent me a song during the COVID that affected me so deeply that I decided I needed to start playing guitar again.
All right.
You went all in.
Yeah. I commit. When I drop in, I'm dropping all the way.
That's like when Jamie started playing guitar too. He bought like 4 incredible electric guitars with like great amps. I was so jealous.
Does that mean you're coming down here on tour, Rob?
Yes.
All
All
right.
my stuff's in
Wait.
storage in Camp Verde.
What do you play? Guitar?
I just bought a guitar. Yeah.
He
Oh, I
a
bought so many
beautiful-
guitars. I give them away. I give them away regularly, right, Nick?
I was playing one today, actually, just 20 minutes ago.
You gotta teach Amelie to play. That'd be really fun.
She strums a little bit. The first time she started strumming, that was the biggest smile I've ever had.
Oh,
Ezra's got a drum teacher. He's got regular drum lessons from the head timpanist of the symphony orchestra here.
It's
And we could make some money getting these kids a job.
School of Rock.
or
Yeah.
sitting on the corner with a little tin cup.
I'm busking.
Yes, busking.
Make dozens
Okay,
of dollars.
Tim is nervous. Tim is nervous, you guys. Let's go.
Yay, Tim's text. Yay.
It's basically all make or break in the first class, Tim. So
Yeah.
I'll set expectations low and we'll just break. All right.
God, he even combed his hair, you guys. He's really serious.
you look
Okay.
good. It's mostly
All
looking.
right. Here we go. So I'd like to welcome Tim Lowenhaupt to the Mixed Nuts.
Yay!
He actually worked pretty hard to get into the Mixed Nuts, and I don't think you guys know, but he actually took Tibetan classes for a while, and his Tibetan is getting quite good actually. So he took some spoken classes. Anyway, he's been doing a lot of Tibetan work for the ACI programs, and it's just been. I could tell he was serious. And, you know, I watched him for a while because sometimes people get serious for a week or two. But he kept it up for quite a while. So I thought we should do it. And congratulations, Tim, and welcome. You don't have time to do this, but who cares about that? Let's get started on his book.
That's
I
exciting.
want to introduce you guys to his book. Where's that? Yeah, here we go. Okay.
Spotify.
Excuse me?
Spotify's open.
For
Didn't
me?
you know Neil Young is like?
Oh,
Anyway.
yeah. Okay, so here's my little spiel about this text. so the traditional Geshe course, which is 25 years, normally 25 years, it's divided into 5 major topics. And in a university, I think each one would be a PhD track or something like that. So you're talking about 5 different degrees. And textbooks were written at each major monastery to study the 5 great books. And typically, let me get this up. Hang on. Okay. Typically, the 2 textbooks are called Chidun and Tachas. So technically, a Chidun is a overview of the whole subject, of the whole great book. And then a Tachu is a dialectical analysis, which means dialectic is a fancy word for, and by the way, Xiaoping, it doesn't pass the waiter test, so don't ask for a dialectic hamburger. It means debate and analysis, but always in debate. So normally the Tacha, the dialectic analysis, is more detailed and longer. Although that difference between the 2 kind of got lost after a while. And nowadays they're not that much different. When we study the lower middle way, which is the independent group of the middle way school, we call, in the monastery, we call it Prajnaparamita, okay, which is Parota Chimba. So even though the literature by Lord Buddha of hundreds of thousands of verses is called Prajnaparamita, or the Mother Sutras. Because that's the main topic of lower middle way writers in the monastery, it came to be called as Parchen, or Prajnaparamita. And we spent 12 years. The first half of the Geshe course is 12 years spent on one book here by a Sangha, which is the Abhisamaya Alankara, which is one of a Sangha's 5 great books that he recovered from going to the dog story and going to meet Maitreya in his heaven. And this book is 75 pages. Everybody in the monastery has to memorize it. I memorized it. It takes about 45 minutes to recite. And it has, it'll be quoted in this commentary. And you're going to see a lot of quotations from Haribhadra, which is, he lived around the time of Kamalashila and Shantarakshita, who had a lot of contact with China. And so these, we're going to get some commentary by Haribhadra also. Now, this commentary to Maitreya is traditionally in eight chapters. Maitreya's book has 8 chapters. And these are the chapters. This book that Tim is going to work on is 8 volumes. Okay, it's thousands of pages, and it, as I mentioned, it takes 12 years to finish just studying it, much less translating it. So here's the layout of these 8 books. The first 3 books, thick volumes, are they all teach the first chapter of Maitreya's work. Okay, so there's 3 books that teach 1 chapter, and that chapter is called Namken, which means omniscience. Okay, knowing all things. So we have 3 chapters, 3 books dedicated to the first chapter. The 4th book in the Tibetan is chapter 2 of Maitreya's work. And that's a special perception of emptiness called Knowledge of the Path. The 5th book which is chapter 3, is a special perception of emptiness called knowledge of the foundation. Book 6 is a special practice that helps you get to enlightenment called the complete practice. Chapters 5, 6, and 7 of Maitreya are short. So the commentary is a single book, the practice of the summit, the practice of the end, and the practice of the instant. Okay. Book 8 is Chukku, Dharmakaya, the body of enlightenment. Okay. Here are statistics for Tim's 8 books. It would take us 30 years. Okay. All right. The first chapter will take 30 years. Okay. So we all have to live a long life. Okay. But I figure, what the heck, let's just go for it. You know, we could divide up the first chapter into 5 books. Each book will be exactly this size. Okay. So just the first chapter will have 5 books. Okay. If we divide it up into 5 books, we could finish his first book in about 5 years. Okay, 4 or 5 years. So here's some breakdown of the Tibetan first book. It would be almost 1,000 pages of English. Okay, and that's why I suggest, Tim, we split it up into 2 books. So the first third of the first chapter, I would split into 2 books. Okay. And the 2 English books will have some, I wanted to give you guys some of the very sexy topics, okay, in the first book. So if we do a book in 5 years, it's going to include what is an innovator. We have this in DCI, what level? 9, about creativity. And it's a whole study of creativity and innovation. And it's extremely useful for modern life. And I have to say, I used it a lot in my diamond business. And it became #1 in the world. So I think it works, okay? Then there's a whole discussion of what is the word of the Buddha. What is ka? The second great topic is, and by the way, this was my pre-Geshe assignment. I had to debate this for my pre-Geshe assignment. And I think, yeah. And it's a question, is Maitreya a Buddha? Is he a Bodhisattva or is he a Buddha? And this ends up being a wonderful commentary on the ideas of a secret teaching, okay? So the second great topic in Tim's first book is a whole discussion of what makes a teaching secret and what happens in a secret teaching. So it's extremely interesting to me. The third topic in his first book will be, what is the mother of the Buddhas? What's it mean to be a mother of a Buddha? The fourth topic in Tim's first book will be Gakja. And this is the best presentation of Gakja in the universe. Okay, so it's extremely important. And if that's the only thing we do from this topic, it's the most important thing. Okay, what is the thing that emptiness is empty of? Okay, and it's a brilliant commentary. Okay, there's a thing called the 3 kinds of knowledge, and we'll be covering that. And then there's a brilliant presentation of what is nirvana. What exactly is nirvana? So you can see how sexy his first book is going to be. And we will jump right into these ideas. And I've used them a lot for DCI and in my life. The second 5 years, okay, they discussed the turning of the wheel, which is a huge, huge important topic. there's a discussion of why knowledge is more important than holy beings. There's a very interesting discussion of the different levels of students and how you judge the level of a student. Then there's a thing called Lam Topso. I spent about 2 years on this topic, and it's a very detailed presentation about how you move through the different levels and the 5 paths and the 3 tracks. And it's extremely valuable. And that was the first translation we ever published, was that section many years ago, about 40 years ago. Okay. Then there's the types of perfection. There's a thing called the realm of the final end, which is a sexy presentation of emptiness. There's a presentation of the 4 qualities of a good teaching, worthy book. There's the definition of Borobudomido and all the kinds of Borobudomido. And then there are 70 classic topics in this book, in Maitreya's book. And I spent about 3 years with my teacher studying those. And those are the subjects of the first 2 English books, okay? So very sexy, okay? And then we'll go through the rest of the chapters. That will take about 30 more years. Tim will be 97 when we finish. If we translate all 8 books, it'll be about 5,000 pages of English. I thought, Tim, to introduce this book, we could go through the 70 topics, and they are incomprehensible. Nobody can understand them. And this was the last carved book, I think, in the world. I was there. 2 75-year-old gentlemen from Tibet carved this book for us. It took about 5 years, and then they died, and that was the end of carvings. The 70 great topics of the perfection of wisdom can be summarized as the Nguntoke. So when you call this book Abhisamaya Alankara, or the Jewel of Realizations, what they're really talking about is 8 different realizations, 8 different states of realization. And that's the structure of the whole book, okay? So I thought, let's go through these 8, Tim, and let's read them together. And then we'll jump into the actual book. But, if you want to know, without waiting 50 years, what's the 8 great topics of your book? Here's the 8 great topics of your book. Okay, so Stanley agreed to check you on this first one.
Be tough, Stanley.
I honor.
Yeah.
All right. Chu nunsumdu tokpe tartukpe tartukpe yeshe
Good,
namken gi seni.
good. So there are 8 states of realization. Is the topic of the jewel of realizations. Okay, Abhisamalankara. And the first state is Namkhen. What's that mean, you guys?
Omniscience.
Yeah, it's omniscience. It's Namba Tamje Kyamba, the knowledge of all things in the universe. Okay, it has a difficult definition. It is Tartupe Yeshe. Tartuk means we had Tartuk Tekpachik yesterday.
At the very end, at the ultimate end.
All paths lead to one.
Yeah, in the end of ends, for Kanser Kantof. In the end of ends, okay, in the final ends, omniscience name is the final wisdom, the final state of wisdom, okay? And it's defined as the direct perception of 10 different things. Okay. The direct perception of 10 different things is the traditional definition of omniscience. So I went and got you the 10 different things. Okay. Because it's frustrating if you don't know what they are. Okay. So I'm going to push this down. Let's see. Okay, Nick wanted to check you on these. Okay.
All right. De la Namken Sunche. Sunche ki chokuni.
Chu.
Bless you. Chochuni.
Choo choo.
Semke. Damnak. Nenche Yanlak. Yanlak. Rick. Mikpa. Chedu Chawa. Kodrup.
Yep.
Juke Troop.
Juke.
Juke Troop. Silk Troop. Nenjun Drupa. Nenju Drupa.
Techuo. Techuo. Yeah. Okay. It's like we're getting deeper into a rabbit hole. The definition of omniscience, which is what you're going to spend the next 10 years on, is that's ultimate state of wisdom, which directly perceives 10 things. Okay. And the 10 things are called Namken Tsun Jeki Chu Chu. Tim, say Namken.
Namken.
Tsun Je
Che.
Ki Chu Chu.
Choo choo.
We had Tsun in Stanley's text. Who can tell me?
Mark.
Yeah, they said masculinity, a deep voice marks somebody as masculine, right? So here,
Sunche. Marker.
the technical name is 10 different entities which mark someone as omniscient. Okay. 10 different entities which mark someone as omniscient. Okay. The first is easy. What's Semke, Tim?
Bodhicitta.
Yeah. The bodhicitta, and obviously the bodhicitta of a Buddha. Okay.
Is that different?
Not, I mean, I debated that for several weeks, so I'm not going to tell you. It's pretty high. Okay, Damnak, do you guys know?
Advice?
Advices.
Like
Personal
spiritual
Yeah, it
advice?
means like personal advices, right? Ngen Je Yenlak means the component of separation, the component of certain separation, okay? And again, these are all deep ideas. It relates to Jorlam. It relates to the second path. And it relates to the stage called Murcha, where your understanding of emptiness is just kind of aspirational and not real. Okay. You heard about emptiness and you would like to get there, but it's not a direct perception. It's not personal. Okay. Obviously, if you're a Buddha and you have omniscience, then the question is, do you give up the qualities you had at the second path? Like when you reach Mahayana in the Lam Rim, do you give up the lower rimbas?
No, because this path is shared.
Yeah, you just build on them. Okay, so it's a similar idea here. Rig is an extremely important concept in the Prajnaparamita, which means Sangyeki Rig, which means Tathagata Garbha. What do you call that? It's
Buddha
the
nature is how you usually say
Buddha
it.
nature. Yeah, this Rig means nature. It doesn't mean family. Number 4 is Buddha nature, and it's an extraordinary discussion of Buddha nature. Okay. Mikpa means the object, capital O, okay? Like emptiness. Chetu Jawa means the purposes of a Buddha, why Buddhas do what they do. And then there's called the four drupas or the four attainments. The first one is called armor, which is Gocha Drupa, which relates to the practice of the six perfections. Then you have Juk Drup, the practice of entering, which is entering the Mahayana. Then you have Sok Drup, which means the final collection of Sunam Yeshe. And then you have Mianjun Drupa, which means achieving renunciation, but it means reaching the 10th level. So what you've got here, Tim, is 10 details of the definition of omniscience. And even the details don't help much. Okay. Like we have to study each of them separately. So that's the first of the Ngunto Ge. That's the first of the 8 realizations is omniscience. The second one is this one. Please read. And Haggerty, you want to check them?
Sure.
Okay. Tongni Nunsumdu Tokpe Sherabdang Ningje Chenpon Ni Ki Senpei Tek Pakpe Kenpa Lam She Ki Seni.
Good. Okay, this is the definition of the second of the 8 realizations, which are the topic of the jewel of realizations. Okay. The second one is called Lamshe, which is called knowledge of the path. Okay. And it's defined as a Kemba. What does Kemba mean, you guys?
Here it means that a knowledge.
Holy knowledge.
Yeah, Kemba means knowledge, but it is a synonym in Buddhism for
A master, a knowledgeable person.
that's Kippa.
Omniscience?
Wisdom? The
No,
wisdom.
A Tamche Kempa? Yeah. Oh, no.
it's a synonym for Lam.
Okay.
Oh,
Oh, like
Okay? In
realization?
fact, in some schools, the definition of Lam is Kimba. Okay, knowledge is Pa. Okay, so a state of knowledge, okay, which belongs to a Tek Chen Pakpa.
Yeah.
Ursula, does Kimba then imply like a mastery, like a deep knowledge necessarily, like mastery?
No, it does not imply that. It
Okay.
just means a state of understanding. Yeah.
它是一种
Oh, okay. Okay. So anyway, we've got the state of knowledge in the mind of an Arya who is also a bodhisattva, right? And here's an important concept that we'll talk about many times called Simba. Who can tell me?
Hold, like that's past tense.
I like to translate it as
Imbued?
imbued. Yeah, like smeared in chocolate sauce. It's Simba I think of. Okay, so it's just covered in 2 things. What? Number 1, it's like ice cream covered in butterscotch and chocolate sauce. Okay, if I ever had it at home, okay. Tongni ngunsa de tope shirab. What's that, Tim?
Direct perception of wisdom, direct realization of wisdom.
Yep, the direct perception of emptiness. Okay. The wisdom which perceives emptiness directly. And Nyingje Chambo.
Great compassion.
Mahakaruna. Yeah, great compassion. So if you had a state of mind, and if it was in the mind of an Arya, and if that Arya was also a bodhisattva, and if that state of mind was imbued, totally absorbed in the direct perception of emptiness and great compassion, that's called the knowledge of the path, Lamshe. And that's the second of the 8 great realizations of your book. Okay. And each chapter is called after one of these realizations. Okay. So the name of chapter 2 is Lamshe. Okay. knowledge of the Pa. These are unique language used in the perfection of wisdom. You will not see these much in other places. Okay, so the study of the perfection of wisdom is completely has its own language, and that's why I'm so happy that we have a new translator, because we have not covered this language. If Grandpa goes to Nirvana and I teach you 12 different languages, you got everything you need. That's all the great languages of Buddhism. Okay, so the word Lamshe is pretty much unique to the perfection of wisdom literature. Okay, here we go. Number 3, realization number 3. Adam wants to check you. I like your suit, Adam. You look like a banker. My gosh. Maybe I can get a loan.
Oh God.
Okay.
Let's see what Adam's wearing. Nice. Okay. Anyway. All right. Tekmengi Tokrik Su Gnepe.
Thank you.
Like you needed.
Keeping on my toes.
Pakyuki Kempatang. Tekmen Pakpe Kenpa Kangrung Ki Dupe Pakyuki Kenpa
Good.
Shisheki Seni.
Good. Okay. The third of the chapters, the 8 chapters, is called Shishe, knowledge of the foundation. Okay, foundation knowledge. And it's defined as the knowledge in the mind of an Arya, okay, which is either included into one type or the other type, okay? What's the first type? Included into, it's the knowledge in the mind of an Arya who is acting at the level of Hinayana. Okay, an Arya who is acting at the level of Hinayana. Okay, okay, the knowledge of, so it must be a knowledge of emptiness, but it's in the mind of a person who is acting in the Hinayana sphere. Okay, or which is actually in the mind of an Hinayana Arya. Sorry. Okay, so either it's a real Hinayana Arya's perception of emptiness, or it's in that general category. Okay. And that's the definition. You can think of foundation knowledge as the perception of emptiness by a Hinayana person. Okay. Roughly. Okay. So what do we got so far? We got omniscience. We got bodhisattva's perception of emptiness, and we got a Hinayana Arya's perception of emptiness. Okay, got it? And those 3 are called Kyambasum. In the Prajnaparamita literature, they are called the 3 knowledges, the big 3. Okay, the omniscience of a Buddha, the perception of emptiness by a Mahayana Arya, and the perception of emptiness by a Hinayana Arya. Okay. And those are called the big 3. Those are called Kyambasum, okay, in the Prajnaparamita literature. Okay. All right. Here's the 4th of the 8 great states of knowledge in the Prajnaparamita literature. Who's gonna check you is Xiaoping, yay!
Hi.
Kensum Kangrum Ki Nam Shihla Sung. Oh, Laksung.
Yeah.
Laksung Drauki Jorwe Sokpar Gompe Riksu Nepe Sempe Yeshe Nam Sok Jorwe Seni.
Okay, now we start what's called the 4 practices. So if you take the 8 states of realization, there will be the 3 knowledges, and then there will be the 4 practices, and then there will be Dharmakaya. Okay, so which makes 8. 3 knowledges, 4 practices makes 7, and then the Dharmakaya makes 8. These 8 are the subject of this book. Okay, so now we're going to go through the 4 practices. All right. Kensum Kanrunki Namba means, look, it's one, your mind is in one of those perceptions of the first 3 types of knowledge. Either you're omniscient, or you're a bodhisattva seeing emptiness directly, or you're a Hinayana person seeing emptiness directly. Okay. But if your mastery of shamatha and vipassana, okay, shilak,
Oh,
combined sungdel,
oh.
if your mastery of shamatha and plakton, vipassana is complete and total, then you have what we call the total practice, Namdzog Jorwa. Okay, Namdzog Jorwa. And this is only had by bodhisattvas. Okay, so the emphasis of the 4th state of realization, which is the subject of the 4th chapter, is the combination of real shamatha and vipassana. Okay, it's an emphasis. Obviously, the first 3 also have those, but in the 4th one, we're going to talk about how the shamatha and vipassana work together. Okay. All right.
A quick question.
Realization number 5. Yeah,
Wait.
go ahead.
It said in the beginning of explanation of number 4 is that your mind is in any one of the first 3 perceptions. And then
Well, what I mean is, it's a little bit less, but it's basically the same thing. You do have shamatha, and you do have vipassana. Yeah.
and number 4, but you're not necessarily one of the 3 above. I think
Technically, you're on your way. Okay, very complex. Okay, all right. Okay, we'll discuss it in about 12 years. Okay. Okay, knowledge number 5. Who's gonna check you? So gang, yay! Yay!
Tekchengi Jorlam Tope, Kangsaki Gyuki Kensum Kangrunki Nampa Nyamsu Lenpe Senpe Yeshe Ejorki Seni.
Yeah, this is called the practice of the summit or the tip. Okay, the practice of the summit. It's not the same as summit used in the Jorlam, although it's connected to Jorlam, the second path. Okay, so knowledge number 5, realization number 5 is a person has attained Jorlam, the second of the 5 paths, path of preparation, in the Mahayana, in the higher track, in the highest track, okay? And if they are exploring the feeling of one of the first 3 knowledges, omniscience, Mahayana perception of emptiness, Hinayana perception of emptiness, then we say they're at Sejor, okay? They have mastered the second path in the Mahayana track, and they are practicing seeing things in the way that the first 3 knowledges do. Okay, that's called peak experience or summit. Okay. All right. By the way, don't worry too much. Okay, it takes a long time to get a handle on these 8, and in fact, they almost never tell you the 8 ahead of time. I'm just trying to help you out. Okay. Okay. All right. 6 of 8. Please read, and Seiji's gonna check you. Yay.
Chut Chusunki. Sinpei. Is this ko or go?
Go.
Gone soba rei chepala chepala tene.
Miss V.
Ensunki nampage ya
Yeah.
ya un chusasun koven manchu
Mature.
machuar gompe rub to chewe riksu nepe sempe yeshe tarki jorwe seni.
Yeah, now this is really hard. And don't stress about it, okay? I just want you to hear the names. You don't have to understand them. Targi means to put an end to something. This gi is not instrumental. It's a verb to do, okay? So targipa means to put an end to something, all right? And this is a practice called the practice of the end, okay? Chuchuksumki Simbegone. It is imbued by 13 different qualities, okay? Tsulwarere Chepa Latene. And every time you make the slightest effort, okay? Anytime you make the slightest effort, you open 173 doors to the three knowledges, okay?
Uh-huh.
All right, okay? So you have, your mind is imbued with 13 different qualities. And every time you make the slightest effort, you trigger 173 different levels of realization. One by one, Machuwa means in their precise order, okay?
Roughly.
When you reach this kind of bodhisattva wisdom, we call it the practice of the final end, okay? So look, you almost can't imagine these things. And so we're getting into a whole new thing that none of you guys ever heard of, okay? And just relax, okay? You'll get there, okay? It's like the first time you heard Lam Rim or something, okay? And that's okay. All right, number 7, please go. Gibson wants to check you. Emily's whispering the answers in his ears, you know, you guys. It's not Gibson at all.
Soba chiki chepala tene kensunki nampa gyatun chusasung korimachulwar gom nupa tope sempe yeshe ke chik jorwe seni.
Yeah, this is called the practice of the instant, the instantaneous practice, Kechik Jorwa. And so what Chik Chepalatene, you simply make a single effort and you set off the 173 aspects of the 3 kinds of knowledge, okay, in their exact order. And then you have the power to go into a deep meditation on each of them. Okay, so it's deeper than the last one. All right. You're still triggering 173 states of realization in their precise order. And you have the ability to meditate on each one deeply as they're going by in a single instant. Okay. Yay. By the way, I mean, you're getting up towards omniscience. Okay. All right. Here's an easier one. Number 8.
Who's checking?
It looks like Gibson didn't do enough.
Bajor Bishi.
Gibson is checking you.
Come on, Gibson.
Yes. Hey.
Bajor She,
Lucy.
thank you.
Yeah.
She, Dopki, Dope, Topja Tarduk. Drebo Chukui Seni.
Good. So the definition of the eighth state of realization, which is the final chapter of this text, which you will reach in 40 years, is the Dharmakaya, which is the result of all practice. Okay, Drebuchuku. What's the definition of the Dharmakaya? It is the ultimate goal, which is attained through the practice of the four practices, by meditating on the four practices, 4, 5, 6, and 7. When you meditate on 4, 5, 6, and 7, and you reach Dharmakaya, you have reached the eighth of the realizations. Okay. Okay. So let's summarize, and don't worry about it. Okay. What you have to know is when Maitreya's most famous book is called The Jewel of Realizations. How many realizations are there, Tim?
There are 8.
Yeah, and they're included into 3 groups, which are the 3 knowledges, the 4 practices, and then Dharmakaya. Okay, the 3 knowledges, the 4 practices, and Dharmakaya. These 8 states of realization is what we're going to cover in your book. Okay, and that's the structure of the whole book. Okay, so the whole, somebody's going to ask you, hey, what are you translating? I'm translating a famous commentary on the Jewel of Realizations. How many realizations are there? 8. What are they? The 3 knowledges, the 4 practices, and Dharmakaya. Okay, that's all. That's all you need to know. Okay. Let's start the book, okay? I got you a life story of a Sangha just for fun. And we're going to start it later. It includes the dog story, by the way. Then we're going to have a life story of Master Hari Bhadra, which I found for you. And then we're going to have a life story of your author, Kedub Tembadage, who, by the way, was the 22nd Ganden Chipa. Who can tell me what's a Ganden Chipa?
Head of the whole lineage, Jetsun Kappa's throne.
Yeah, the throne holder of Jetsun Kappa. Who was the first one?
Gyaltsab.
Yeah, Gyaltsab, whose name means
Throne holder.
holder. Okay, good. So the 22nd, I believe he's the 22nd lineage holder who held the throne of Tsongkhapa. It means he was the premier Tsongkhapa teacher in his lifetime, is the author of this book. Okay, and there's a nice little biography of him that we're going to study, but not tonight. I want to get you into the book for good luck, Tim.
Again,
We
that
are
biography we already
finding. Say again.
Did we already have that biography in the
Oh,
database?
it's too small, Nick.
Okay, Yinten's
It's
looking.
It's unsatisfying. It's like having one. It's like having one handful of popcorn, right, Seiji? It's
That
not
sounds
enough.
terrible.
Okay. All right. Okay. Here's the actual book. And we got 10 minutes. Tim, I just want you to start off on it. And who's going to get the honor of checking you? Hasso.
I also.
Okay.
All right. Tenche Numpar, Tokpe Drelpatang, Chepe Tachulekbar Shepa Padma Kartboy, Trengwa, Shejawa.
There. Pema.
Emma. Yeah.
Okay.
Pema Kartboy, Trengwa, Shejawa, Kedruki, Sungjun Kab Tangpo Shukso.
Nice. Okay. we will remember this day, Tim, 50 years from now. And by the way, I'm serious. I'm not messing around. This mixed nuts project is something serious, and it will take centuries to finish it. And that's what we're doing. And good things take a long time. Okay. Americans rarely think beyond the next credit card bill. But you know, we're starting a project that will take 700 years, and I'm okay with that. Tenjung number top again. Okay. By the way, the technical name of the Abhisamaya Alankara is the Shastra of the Abhisamaya Alankara. So this is part of the original title. Tenja means Shastra, means classical commentary. What do you call the classical commentaries translated as a group?
Tengyur.
Tengyur. Okay, that's the Tengyur. How many are there in their word?
3,645.
Something like that. Okay, so this is just one of the Shastras. All right, and it's called Abhisama Alankara. I remember learning the word Alankara from my Sanskrit teacher. And the way he described it was, Alam means prepared or ready to go to a party. And Kara means to get ready. Alankara means to get ready. And so in ancient India, a necklace or the jewels that a lady would wear on her hands or neck at a formal dinner party was called Alankara. Okay. And it came to mean to get ready. Okay, so that jewelry was called getting ready jewelry. Okay, Alankara. So we have here a jewel in the sense of a piece of fine jewelry, especially around your neck. Okay, it was spoken so beautifully that it's like a beautiful diamond necklace, okay? And that's the name of this book, The Necklace of Realizations, okay? It's very beautiful. Abhisamaya Alankara, the Shastra, the classical commentary, okay? And we're gonna study that root text of Maitreya, but along with the Delpa, okay? Along with its commentary by?
Target.
Nope, this is the commentary, so he can't be talking about that yet.
Haribhadra.
Mr. Haribhadra.
Haribhadra, yeah, who lived about,
I think you said 750.
1,300 years ago.
Yeah, call it 400 years after Asanga, okay? And so we're gonna study the root text by Maitreya, which was written 16 or 1700 years ago. Then we're going to study the commentary by Haribhadra, okay? And what we are studying is a tacha. What's tacha?
Dialectical analysis.
Dialectical analysis.
Dialectical analysis. A deep, deep study of the perfection of wisdom in almost entirely in a debate format, okay? And this is how young monks, this is the first major text that a young monk studies in the monastery. This is the first book that ALL ever input. Out of 16 million pages, this is the first book. This is S00001. Okay, this is because it's the most important book we could think of to start the project with. 35 years ago today. All right, yay. Tacha, what's the Tacha's name? It's a Bebma Carpotenwa, Tim.
I like a garland of white lotuses.
Good, garland of white roses. Garland of white lotuses of fine explanation. Lake Bashipa, a fine explanation, okay? Shejawa. Who wrote it? Kedrup.
Kedrup.
Yeah, not Kedub J, but Kedub Tembadagi. What does Kedub mean?
Wise and accomplished.
Yeah, wise and accomplished. And by the way, it means, first of all, the person is wise in their mind. And Jub means they actually put it into practice. So it's a very high, beautiful name to call somebody Kedub. It means they understand emptiness, but they're also nice to people and they serve people. Okay. And they do their meditation and their yoga. Okay. And they are Jub. It's a very beautiful name. Okay. Sungyun means from the river of his teachings, from the great river of his teachings. Here is the cup tumble. Okay. Every great book has chapters. And the tradition in ancient India is to call each chapter by a different name. So the chapters in Nagarjuna's wisdom are called bodhicittas. Okay, well, what are you studying? I'm in bodhicitta number 3. It means chapter 3. Okay, when you're studying Abhidharma, Stanley, Koshasthana. I'm in the treasure box number 2, like that. Okay, but in the study of the Abhisamankara, each chapter is called a cup. Cup means occasion. Okay, the occasion. Okay, so first chapter, Shukso is contained here like a holy being. All right, Nick, we're out of time.
We're out of time.
Oh, that's great. We just finished the title, Tim.
It was exciting though.
Yeah, totally.
It's awesome. It's really awesome.
Really exciting.
Okay. And those topics, I mean, we're going to jump right into Shingde Soje. We're going to jump right into how do you get creativity by understanding emptiness? You know, that's awesome. Yeah. Okay. We need creativity for the Peachtree Healthy Eating Show, you guys. I'm excited. Okay, stopped here. What's the date today?
9th.
9th, Ken.
Okay. All right. Good luck, Tim. Live a long life.
Thank you, Geshe-la. Thank you so much.
Okay. All right. Yeah.